AI is good, right? AI is good at certain things. It's very, very clever, but it doesn't know anything.
We saw a recent scenario, right, with Deloitte.
Yeah. I think the big lesson out of this, right, is not that don't use AI. It's you need to know where you've used AI and be especially careful of checking that part. It's no use me asking it about something I don't understand because I won't understand its output.
Welcome to the MG Academy. Today we're very lucky to have Edmund Tadros. That's how you pronounce it, right? Yeah. Welcome, Edmund, from the Australian Financial Review. You guys may have seen him out there, seen a couple of his articles, and you specialise mainly in...
I write about consulting and accounting firms in the sector.
Yeah. So very, very relevant, I guess, to what we do and the areas and circles that we operate in. And today, I thought we'd take the opportunity with the big chat around AI, artificial intelligence, financial information, and that type of thing is up in the scare. It's the first thing that often comes to mind when you're speaking to people, when we're out networking and dealing with potential clients. So, I've read a couple of your articles and I see you're on the ball in this regard. And mate, how are you setting the landscape with respect to AI and consulting and accountants? And is it something that I know this is a very broad question. Is it something that's been taken on by these guys? Is it something that they're shying away from and trying to prevent?
It's sort of, I'm doing at the moment, I'm looking at the top 100 accounting firms, so I'm crunching all the data from that.
Yeah.
And roughly speaking, most firms are thinking about it or doing something, and then if they're doing something, it sort of ranges from experimentation to quite hardcore automation of processes.
Yeah.
What I think is basically it's a tool. No one really knows anything.
Yeah.
Everyone's only a few pages ahead of everyone else. And what's coming to light now is as useful as the tool can be, you've got to be really careful where you use it.
Yeah. So that's exactly right. I mean, not just the tool with respect to how you're using it, but it's like the information you obtain and you hold on behalf of your client. But what I also see as well is that the barriers to entry, because there's a requirement for direct investment, right? And also too, when is the right time? Because if we invest in it now, in a month's time, in 6 weeks' time, there's going to be something new. Is that going to be redundant, right? And so do we make the big move? Do we sit back and wait? But if you sit back and wait, then you're kind of behind the eight ball, right?
Yeah.
So there's no real sweet spot. And is this where people are sort of jumping the gun and perhaps getting caught out?
Look, there's probably two levels to it. I think as an individual, there are all these tools available in your email. If you use any transcription tools that are AI-driven, I think you should just very carefully start to use them. There's no real playbook on how to use AI. If you've got ChatGPT or Gemini or a subscription to those, keeping in mind client confidential information, I wouldn't put any of it into that unless you've got your own instance of it, which is sort of not an easy thing to do for some organisations.
Well, you need the right security and protection,
completely.
Right? Yeah.
But there's no real roadmap of how to use it. It's not like it's like I'd give you a spreadsheet and go, here you go. You'd have to start playing around and see what works, what doesn't. The one massive sort of thing I always think when I use it is it's very, very clever, but it doesn't know anything. It doesn't know context. So
right.
It's no use me asking it about something I don't understand because I won't understand its output. But also, it's much, much easier to look at a draft of something that someone's done than it is to do it yourself and then review that because that's the second time through. You're just not going to look at it as closely as if you're fresh to it and you can just look at it and compare it. So just really low-level things like that. It's very useful.
So is this something that we saw a recent scenario, right, with Deloitte?
Yeah.
And the consulting report that was sent out to was the federal government, right?
Yeah, it was for one of the departments.
And kind of high-level summary in that instance.
Yeah.
They had relied upon ChatGPT or whatever the AI software or system they were using to reference or review the work, or what was the situation there?
So it was a report for the Department of Employment and Workplace Relations. That report was about whether a computer system the department has, which automatically stops people getting some government benefits if they don't meet certain criteria, whether or not that was working as intended, essentially. So it's an assurance project for an IT system. Does the system do what it's meant to do? Which is complicated, right? Very complicated.
Wow.
Yeah. And so in the report, an academic who was an expert in the area found that there was a bunch of references and a summary of a legal case that had some fabricated material that was fabricated by AI.
So, okay, that's interesting. So when it's fabricated, and so the publisher of that report is essentially the responsible one, right?
Well, of course.
Yeah. And it's not, oh, that was AI, that's AI's problem. Like, no, mate, you got paid.
It's like any report, right? If you're giving a client a report, an evaluation, if you're doing some work for a client, you do the work, then you check it, and then like any good accounting firm or professional service firm, probably gets checked by legal, the risk people, review by the partner in charge.
Yeah.
You know.
So that still needs to take place.
It needs to take place even more in some respects, because it's one thing I know the expert did it. If I think the big lesson out of this, right, is not that don't use AI. It's you need to know where you've used AI and be especially careful of checking that part. Because a human being, if I know that you're a 20-year expert in X, Y, or Z, generally speaking, I at least know that you know your stuff. You might make a few sort of typos or some things like that. But generally speaking, your experience, you understand the context and you've done the work. But the AI is like, I see it compared to the intern. I think that's a pretty good one. Intern is very well intentioned.
Yes.
They're going to try their best.
Yeah.
But you would check that work just a little bit more.
Because,
and this is the same with AI, right? You check the AI output a bit more. So I think the lesson of the Deloitte thing is you'll continue to use AI, but you'll be much more careful in checking it. And I think what will happen is clients will start to go, can you just tell us how you've used AI?
Yeah.
Not for good or bad reasons, but just to know in that bit of the report, they might just take a bit of a more...
So a bit more of a focus.
A bit more of a focus, right? And AI is good, right? AI is good at certain things. It's not good at other things. There's no real sort of pattern to it.
No.
Yeah.
But we're still learning, right, with AI, okay?
Yeah.
So in this instance, and is this just part of the normal teething process?
I think so.
Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, we get... Often success comes out from adversity, and learning how to be resourceful and how to learn from that mistake. So, this is a potential mistake, but it's also enlightening and something that we should all be drawn on so we can learn for next time. Yeah, completely. So I think that this is... this story went viral. We're in a hype cycle with AI. Yeah. I can't go into my LinkedIn without someone saying... AI is soon going to wipe out XYZ job. I'm really skeptical of that. Yeah. I think of any job, you think of your job, there are some bits of it that it's very good at helping me become more efficient at. But anything that has where I talk to people or have to make a judgment, very hard. So, and in any job, you think of all of the processes that make up that job. Are you really going to automate a job away? Maybe it's possible, but I've yet to see it. Yeah, I think... Do you know what I honestly think? I think, like, I'm going to look into, like, a broker funder type of scenario, right, where I'm finding a lot of brokers who and I'll quickly touch on this off camera, right, that focus on rate and price, right? They just tick boxes, feed it through the system, the computer says yes, the computer says no. Yes. For me, that is sort of kind of becoming redundant. Yeah. Yeah. In the sense that, okay, well, AI can do that. So it's now working the deal. They don't use any of their own judgment. Well, look, it depends who you're talking to, but let's just say a new broker, home loan broker, someone that just focuses purely on volume, right, as opposed to, a distressed scenario. So I guess where I'm leading to with this is that I feel that it's actually going to give us some opportunity to kind of dive and focus on parts and areas of industries that we've slightly neglected because we've been focused on the process-driven ideas. Yeah. So are our brains going to be forced to use the other side and drill down into things? I think that's a perfect example of something where if there's no exceptions and basically it's a decision based on an algorithm,
it's like self-service, right?
It is.
Is that AI, or is that sort of...
Well, that's true.
It's self-service. So AI could be used in it, but...
You're right. It is. It's self-service.
And likely no human being really wants to do that.
No.
It'd be like me having to ring up my bank to talk to someone to get my password reset.
Yeah.
I don't really want to do that, right? I just want to put my email in.
Mate, you're spot on.
So I think transaction services, AI is just an extension of...
Build from that.
If it's no exceptions. Because I always hear customer service used as an example of AI. And to me, it's the same thing. Actually, there's
like a bot or something like that.
Yeah, like most of the time, most people, I think, if I can just type a question and get an answer, I don't want to talk to someone.
Yeah.
It's quicker for me. Whatever the service provider is doesn't want me to talk to a human being.
Do you know you're talking to a human being? That is the question.
It doesn't matter. If it's a solvable routine problem, it's self-service.
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Where you need human beings and where the robots can't help is an exception where the processes haven't worked or the computer system hasn't worked. It is actual genuine problem, a genuine exception like your loan example. Then you want to ring up and talk to a human being. And that human being's probably going to have to look at a bunch of systems to work out what's gone wrong because it's an exception. AI can't really help that. And if you try and use AI for that, I don't know if you've ever used AI bots when you've had an exception for a problem. And I think I tried it once with an airline.
You're getting nowhere, right?
You end up in a loop.
Yeah.
Because it gives you generic responses that only work for and no one's saying...
Yeah.
I mean,
have we answered your question, Mr. Tadros?
Yeah.
No, mate.
No,
you haven't.
And it sort of goes into a loop and you're like, I just want to talk to a person in this case. But if it's a self-service situation, I don't think anyone... I mean, maybe some people want to talk to people, but most people want to just quickly resolve it.
It's about, being efficient.
Yeah, I think so.
And timely.
Yeah.
And particularly in this day and age, right?
Yeah.
So, in the accounting side of stuff, where are you seeing the most advances with respect to AI?
Oh, look, this is... I'm in the middle of processing our top 100 accounting firms data at the moment. And we asked a bunch of questions about AI.
Yeah.
Of the firms who answered, roughly half, more than half of the firms are using AI or talked about different ways they're using AI. And what we found was it was mainly used for high repetition transaction work. And I got a couple of examples like
please.
GST reconciliation, client onboarding, filling out all the forms, all right? Disbursement processing at one firm. So to me, that's one where it's kind of AI, but really it's a transaction.
Yeah, like you were saying before.
There's an AI element probably processing some text involved.
Yeah.
Maybe for a transaction processing but really, it's a standard automated system that has checks in it.
Can I ask you a question? Is that taking away billable hours?
I don't think so.
If there's a bot, can the bot charge? I don't know. Because sometimes it's like, why would I do that?
Yeah.
Because then I can't charge the client.
That's a good question. A little bit, if it can be turned into an automated process for all the non-exceptions, someone's going to do it, and there's probably the market's going to go away anyway.
Yeah.
So you may as well turn it into a transaction service.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that
that makes sense.
Is how an accountant would think? I'm not an accountant.
Yeah. Look, I'm an accountant. I'm a different accountant. I specialise in insolvency.
Yeah.
And a lot of my thinking is commercially minded.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say so. I think you're on the ball there.
Yeah.
Particularly when you think accounting, people think business services and audit, right?
Yeah.
Like people come to me and say, "Oh, you're an accountant. You can do my tax." I go, "Mate, I've got my own tax accountant."
Yeah.
We're like, your tax accountant is your GP, and we're like your specialist. Yeah. So I guess kind of the day-to-day stuff and most of the really kind of repetitive onboarding, that type of thing, does come from more of those business services type, right? But then we move into audit.
Okay, so audit's interesting. I'm working on a story at the moment about one of the big four, and if you think of a corporate audit, the number of processes involved. So what they're doing is they're building agents, and each agent does one very specific task. So one of the examples I looked at was reconciling the balances of material bank accounts. So they've got a platform, and for this example, they sort of walked me through.
Yeah.
one agent goes off and gets all of the documentation about the key bank accounts and gets the final balance and puts it into a spreadsheet or document or equivalent. Another agent goes and gets all the client-side balances, because you're trying to reconcile, puts it into the spreadsheet next to each other, and then a third one goes through it. I'm simplifying, but
of course, I understand.
Goes through it and then goes, look, we think these are the ones that we think are fine. These are the ones that we're worried about, and then critically, it puts all of that summary data up along with links to the original data for the auditor to double check everything. Okay, so that's just one bit of it.
Yeah, so the field work may be taken out, right, for example?
Completely. And when I asked, I said, this looks interesting. And then what they have to do is sign off on it or go and check. And they basically, this is step one, they double check everything against the original material. And they either change things, sign off on it, and then they go to the next step, and then on and on and on. And I asked, what would you normally have done? And these poor auditors all sighed simultaneously and said, well, we would have gone to the bank and got all the PDFs and then opened the PDFs up and found the number and typed it or copied it into a spreadsheet. And then we would have gone to the other side.
But then there's human error involved in that too, right?
Exactly. And so it's a demonstration of two things, right? One is you think of how many processes you reckon is in even a simple audit?
I have not,
hundreds?
Yeah, at least.
At least, right? We were going into the four figures, at the very minimum.
At least.
And that's for a small company that doesn't have corporate reporting legislated reporting requirements. So for that one process, likely, I'm going to sort of estimate here because I don't know the exact number, but maybe a dozen or two agents that have to be built, maintained.
Yeah.
You have to do assurance on them to make sure they're doing what they're doing. Multiple steps where the auditor, who is the expert, checks it, and then and that's for one little process.
Yeah.
So you extrapolate that out, right?
100%.
So what you'll get in the first instance is, and I'll just pull some numbers out.
Yeah.
Maybe you only looked at 100 bank accounts because they're material given the firm. You can
sample.
You look in the most material ones, and anything that looks weird. You might look at 400. You might look at 500 in the same amount of time.
Yeah.
And then you also might say, find me anything that looks weird, right? You know what normal looks like. And so you probably have another X amount. So you get a much better audit.
Yes.
Because the question a client has is, well, is it cheaper?
Yeah.
And you're like, well, actually, in the first instance, I'm sympathetic to the view that it's a lot of work to develop and maintain and track.
Yeah.
And the human being has to be in there multiple times.
Yes, the layers.
The layers have to be in there. I mean, you can skip that to make it easy, but it won't work.
Well, do you know what? And the reason why I kind of led into audit and how that's relevant to what we do in kind of insolvency and debt is that the tax office is now using these processes and programs and AI to data match. So they can data match everything.
Yeah.
Right. And so, as you may or may not know, right, then there was $100 billion in tax debt owing by SMEs. 50 million of that has been already written off by the tax office.
50 billion.
50 billion.
Yeah.
There's another 50 bill that is still kind of under a cloud, which is being, is considered distressed or in default and needs to be dealt with. Now, we do these things called small business restructures in our line of work, right? Where it's not a voluntary administration. It's a less intrusive process where the idea is to say, like, right, Mr. Taxman or Mrs. Taxman or whatever, Miss Taxman, we have this debt. This company's in trouble. If it goes into liquidation, you get nothing. If we've looked at it, we believe the company can pay 30 cents in a dollar over a period of 12 months. And then trade profitably if the balance of that debt was written off. So the legacy debt, yeah? So what I'm getting at is that hopefully they can use AI to data match, to see things, to control a little more.
And give people a heads up.
Well, give them a heads up, or don't let the debts run up so high to a position where it's hopeless.
Look, I don't have detailed knowledge of this. I've written a bit about GIC.
Yeah.
So the general interest charge on late tax bills.
That's expensive, isn't it?
Yeah, which is part of this. On what you're saying, look, I might answer it this way. I think where everything is heading, this includes the way the ATO works, is we're going from point-in-time historical information to getting more and more to, if not real-time, then effectively real-time. Audits...
Well, it's going that way now with, like, single-touch payroll, right?
Exactly.
Super.
Yeah,
Payday
exactly.
super.
So, corporate audits, looking back at a year in time, that's quite archaic, really.
It is.
Given the information we have. Tax, they do the quarterly instalments, which is an attempt by the tax office to go...
with cash flow and...
Yeah, to help to basically go, instead of us charging you X amount at the end of the year and you go, whoa, we're going to sort of work out and then split it up into 4. So you have little,
I understand, and that's what
and so I think maybe that's a version of what you're talking about in a business sense, right?
I would, 100%.
Yeah. And so I don't know if they are, but you would think that we are heading that way.
I really hope so, and people need to, and I'm trying to articulate the best way possible, because I'm an accountant, I do all this, but I'm a general kind of, what is it, salt of the earth, right? So I'm just trying to do in layman's terms here. Yes, there is that risk. So not only do you lodge your statements, then you go, how often that, you've got 12 months to do last year's stuff, and then you come back, here's your tax debt. How's this possible?
Look, I assume if you get into that sort of trouble, you're not across... Like a good business person is across the numbers,
I know,
right?
but
probably on a daily basis, probably on an hourly basis. But if you run the debt up, you're probably... It's all a bit...
What makes up the heart of our economy is the mum and dads, the SMEs, who are very good at putting the boxes away and doing the carpentry stuff.
Yeah.
But they leave that other thing to the professionals.
Yeah.
And then often they drop the line.
Why? Well, I mean, you could also argue maybe accountants should be doing that as part of the...
Absolutely.
Maybe the sole practitioners using, all the accounting software is pretty amazing now.
Exactly. And this is where
I have friends who are fans.
I'm trying to get at.
Yeah. So they should be looking at that and knowing.
Scanning your receipts, putting them in real time.
And I think that hasn't really changed, right? Like 10 years ago, a good accountant helps you get ahead of the problem.
Yeah. Absolutely.
100 years ago,
that's the idea.
That's the job, right? The job is, look, I'm really good at doing my business. There's a little bit of regulatory things, but really the job of an accountant is to help you manage the money side 100%. Of it. Technology's getting better, so you should be able to sort of
take advantage of that.
We'll make that gap between when it's happened and when you know about it, or extrapolating it smaller and smaller.
But I think you've hit the nail on the head in the sense that that's what we expect, right?
Yeah.
Get you out of the crap, get you forward thinking.
Well, preemptive.
But a lot of and preempting and putting in plans in case this happens. But from what I see out there with a lot of accounts, it's not like that at all. It's reactive.
Okay.
And I think what I'm getting at is I think with the AI and technology, that's actually going to force them to be like that.
Yeah.
And provide those services. All they'll find themselves similar to these, as I said before, the brokers that just compete on rate and price.
But essentially, I think we were talking about the same thing, is that anything that can be automated...
Will be. And but there's a lot of things that, you could, but the amount of effort involved, or it's just not there yet. Like, I think of my job, right? Like, someone... Yeah, look, you could technically record an interview and then put it in there and get it to write an art. But the article... It's okay. Yeah. It sounds okay. Yeah.
But it's not a fin review article.
Yeah, exactly. It's not groundbreaking.
A fin review article is we're trying to sort of tell you what's going on, knock it forward and tell you the implications of it, tell you how we got the information, hopefully get some people...
Form an opinion.
Yeah, hopefully get some people who know about it to give you a bit of insight. You could theoretically, I guess, ask a bot to do bits of that. It just doesn't work that well. Maybe one day it will. And I don't think that's any different to what an accountant does when they're dealing with their clients.
So you rely on AI with some of your stories? And
so our rule is we do not use AI to write stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't. We declare its use where it's relevant to the reader. But I will use it to, like that example where and
check tables.
I'll check tables, right? Like I'll create a table. I'll go, here's some data. Can you read this and make a table for me with these fields?
Yeah,
it's pretty good at that. I'll use it to sometimes suggest headlines. I've never used the headlines.
Yeah.
But
come up with an idea. Yeah.
I just need an idea, right? Because you just as a journalist, you write an article, and then you got to write the headline.
Yeah.
It's very annoying.
Yeah.
And so you go.
I never thought of that.
You give me 10 ideas, right? And it's never ever.
Do you have someone that specialises in writing headlines?
Yeah, we've got a whole process, and the sub editors in the old days would write the headline, but we have a first go of it.
Yeah.
But you still got to do the work. It's not a shortcut.
Your
to doing
eyes
the work.
still need to look at the text.
Because if you don't do the work, you'll come a cropper. And it may not be straight away, but it will be, yeah.
Okay, what have we missed? What do you think is relevant to what this kind of topic that we're discussing about that is not common or comes straight to mind? Is it, what are we missing? What is new? What is something we should focus on? So before you said, I got a real good point there in the sense that you still need to read. It doesn't matter what you're doing.
Yeah.
You can make it easier for you. You can help you. It can expedite the process. At the end of the day, you still need it up here, yeah?
Yeah.
What is something else that we can add on to that people need to look out for, be mindful for, that you think is coming?
Look, I think there's a couple of things. One is, and I mean this in a general sense for non-technical people, no one really knows anything. So the people who are using it are only a couple of pages ahead of everyone else. You think of the most sophisticated users of AI in Australia, places like the Commonwealth Bank. Okay, they're far ahead.
Yes,
they're really sophisticated. But a lot of companies, a lot of organisations, a lot of individuals, if you start using it, then you'll understand the limits of it. It's like using a spreadsheet. You've got to start using it, and in the same way I wouldn't give you a spreadsheet and go, can you just solve all my problems?
Yeah.
AI can do certain things, and you need someone to just sort of show it to you, try this out, but you learn by experimentation.
Yeah, so what you're saying is don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid.
And don't feel like, I'm too far left out, can't do it. You can jump on board at any stage.
Just give it a go. And there'll be someone that you know, right? Usually a young person.
Yes. Yeah.
Who uses it naturally.
Yeah.
So no one knows, nobody knows anything. Give it a go. 2 is, but treat everything it does with the highest degree of skepticism.
Yeah.
Which is fine, right? And some things it doesn't matter. It's quite good at doing automated replies. Every now and again I'll use that.
Yeah.
Not too often. And, the system we use, it comes up with pre-automated replies. Not very often, but every now and again I'll click on it and go, that's broadly what I want to say.
Yeah.
And it's more a sort of, yep, got it, thanks. So it's quite good. If you're using it for work or something that's important, you need to be in a position to be able to evaluate its output, which means you need to be either an expert or understand that enough to evaluate it.
Yeah.
That really cuts a lot of uses out, but also there's a lot of uses left. So if I use it to plan a holiday, there's no wrong answer there.
No.
It doesn't matter.
Yes.
It doesn't matter if it's...
It can't be... There's nothing in it that can't be undone.
Exactly. And you're really looking for a directional couple of ideas. But if it's for a client report that you're doing, and it suggests things, you should know what is right and wrong, because that's your job.
It will stand out.
It will stand out, right. So if you're going to use it for something important, you have to understand the output enough to evaluate it.
Yeah.
And 3, I'll probably come to regret this, but I'm very sceptical it can replace entire jobs. I think it can replace processes.
But it'll be limited.
But it'll be limited, and even the automation is some combination of regular computer processing with an AI call. It's very hard to do a whole series of things using AI because it produces random results each time, and if you're doing a transaction system, if 2 + 2, it must equal 4 every time. But AI is good at, maybe you want to read a document or interpret some words, all right? As part of this process, you can do a call to AI, have some way of vetting it, or have a human being look at it at that stage. I think things like that will become more and more common.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's where we're at.
And is this, the .com boom?
Yeah.
So we're in the AI boom.
Yes.
Will it ever stop?
I don't know. The AI hi-fi read is there's a lot of it. Having used it, I have the view. Yeah, it's amazing. It's transformative, and a lot of people. I sort of have a bit of a rule when I'm writing about it. I'm happy to write about what you're doing. I'm not sure how helpful it is, just from a reader point of view, writing about what it could do, because it could do anything. But it's like if you've ever done any computer programming, things sound like they could be programmed.
I had a Game Boy once. It's about it.
Yeah. Oh, well, things sound like they could be programmed once, but it's that last, I don't know, 20% or whatever. That's all the conception processing that kills you.
Yeah. Can I just say this, and just before we go, we do need to wrap it up. You need to go.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of things as well, but I get a genuine or authentic enthusiasm out of you when it comes to this.
Yes.
It's obviously something that's very passionate.
Yeah.
I'd really like the opportunity to maybe catch up every now and then and just see what's moving, what we're both seeing.
Yeah.
Right? And how we can kind of add to that and help and bring it, it's all about collaboration.
And you should go and find out what your firm's doing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're probably doing things that you don't know about that are quite interesting, testing stuff out. So and I'm interested because I write about it, but I'm also thinking about it as a professional, as a journalist. Where can I use
Standing in the shoes.
Where is where no way I'm not using it there, but other places where I go, actually it's pretty useful.
Yeah.
But it's like any tool. I love spreadsheets as well, but you can only use them for certain things.
Yeah. But if I get anything out of this, it's embrace it, question it, don't be afraid of it, and there is never a bad time to enter into the AI world.
Go find a young person, they'll explain it to you.
Yeah, I love it. All right, mate. Okay. Well, thank you very much.
You.
And
great.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Lovely to meet you.
Yes.
And no doubt we'll stay in touch.
That's great.
Oh,
thank you.
Thank you. There we have it, guys. Thank you for attending and listening into the chat. Hope you all took something out of that. By all means, please reach out if you have any questions, and please look at the description for your CPD certificates. Thank you. Good on you.